Hi, this is Tom. We're going to go through creating art in Illustrator to export into a format that Photoshop can pick up and create a GIF with, an animated GIF. We're going to be creating small animated icons or graphics to use on the screen when a file is downloading. We've seen them all before, and some of them are cool, some of them are not. But it's a good place to start with some of the basics of animation. First step is putting together the artwork in Illustrator. You can see on the screen here I've got 12 artboards. I've got a selection of graphics up on top. We'll go through that in a minute. But the 12 artboards are where you ought to start, or the best place to start. And then we're going to export those artboards into a PNG format for Photoshop to pick up. I'll start a new document here and look at how to set one up. It's an RGB document, so we use the web space and specify 200 by 200 pixels, and it's going to work just fine. They're pretty small, but they work just fine. And I want 12 artboards. And just say create. Now this configuration might not be as easy as one linear, but move yours around however is best for you. The only thing you need is you need to be able to see the transitions from one artboard to the other fairly easily. So set it up however you'd wish, but this is where you would start. Heading back to this one, let's see what this looks like as a GIF. Let's see, my GIFs one. This is the end result. Fairly innocuous. It's moving. Look kind of like a little hummingbird floating around there. But yours are going to be way cooler. I know. But this is where you start. I've got 12 artboards. I created this one fairly easily, just pasting this graphic in 12 different times, and then coloring one of the cells. Just changing the rotation of the cells. One of the tools in Illustrator you might find useful is the blend tool, and a blend tool will create specific steps from one object to another. Select the objects, go to the blend call out, and hit blend options. There are two options in here, specific and smooth. You want specific so that you can specify the number of in-between steps. I'll say 4, and then go back. This is something that's always kind of weird. You specify what kind of blend, then you go back and tell it to make the blend. The cool feature is that by changing the front and back end, the keyframes of this blend, you change the blend. You can change the size. You can change the rotation. You can change the color. This might give you a hint as to what you could use for the steps in your animation. Once you're happy with the graphics and their apparent movement, you need to get it out into a format Photoshop can see. File, export for screens. All of the artboards will appear. If they're not already selected, just toggle select all. You do not want the bleed if you had a bleed set up. And this is important. You have to tell it which folder to put all the files in. Now this was set up once before. Let's go through setting up a new folder here. Go to the desktop, into some working space that I can find easily. And I'm just going to say new folder. And nice bow. Create the folder and use the folder. And then I've checked open location after export, so we'll see that. Export artboards. And there we go. Animation test, and these are the files. Let's see. I've got that one running in the background. And that's that. Illustrator, 20 by 20 artboards. Put together 12 of them. Create the motion any way you'd like. Great idea would be to start with sketches. Really difficult to open up blank artboards, stare at them, and imagine what you might do. Start with some sketches. And then export it to a file, a format that Photoshop can get to. Okay, that's this one. Next video, we're working in Photoshop.